I hope now you are able to see the slide. And the topic is how to write an abstract for academic publications. Now, when can you write abstract? The simple answer is when you undertake the task of conducting research. Now, when it comes to research, then what is the meaning of research? As you already know that we have so many words where prefix re is used, and the meaning of re is again. So redo is one such word that we have. Similarly, this re is a prefix for research. And what you are not doing something very novel, something very new, but you are looking again carefully on a topic, on an issue, or a problem that you find academically significant that you want to address. But research cannot be done in isolation, and it follows a tradition, and that particular tradition is known as methodology. So there are set methods that are used when you conduct a research. What are those set methods? Textual analysis is one such method. Conducting interviews is another such method. Ethnography is another such method. Applying a theory, any theory, let's say critical discourse analysis is one such method. So when you apply some method, then it is sure that your research is going to be a scientific study. It is not your personal study, it is not your subjective study, but once a standard and appropriate methodology is employed, then research is going to be scientific. And when it comes to method, or when it comes to methodology, then we are talking about those set processes and procedures which have been used by millions of researchers previously as well. So research methodology is basically a careful search that studies, that examines, that collects information following a set of procedure while conducting the research. Under research methodologies, there are various things that you need to take care of, but here in this lecture, we are focusing on abstract specifically. And when it comes to the general understanding of a research, you will also do a mini research in your next semester. What you will do, you will write your master's dissertation. You will write 50 pages, 100 pages, 40 pages. So one common understanding of research is that research is a disciplined activity. When we use this word discipline, then you already know that we have lots of disciplines. And those disciplines are, let's say the title of this course is Structures of Language, or Stylistic Theory and Practice, or let's say any other course that you study in literature. Those are also disciplines. But here we are using disciplined activity. Now, disciplined activity means that you need to rigorously, you need to regularly, you need to actively engage in research. And when you conduct a research, what will you actually do? You will increase the stock of knowledge. You will try to increase the stock of knowledge. So research is not a duplication of duplication. Research is not a copy of copy, but you try to add a very little new information in the already existing stock of knowledge. And you do it quite creatively, you do it quite systematically. And the first thing is you start asking a question. So when you select a topic, when you think that this topic is appropriate for my master's dissertation, you also need to to think that what are my research questions. So can you think of 4 to 5 research questions based on that particular topic? Now, posing a question is a difficult thing. Why posing a question is a difficult thing? Because when you are conducting a research and then you pose a question, that is not any question you are posing. That is also not the question that already been posed, but a new question you are posing. So posing, asking an intelligent question is very difficult task. Asking and posing a stupid question is very easy task. So in research, you pose a question, but that type of question that has not previously been posed. That is not a stupid question. Then based on that question, you try to find out the answers and you collect some data. Now there are different types of data. Now once you conduct a textual analysis, then you have a primary source is your novel, primary source is your poetry book, primary source is your drama, short story book. But you have secondary sources. And what are those secondary sources? Those secondary sources are that people who have already done some work on that particular novel, poetry, short stories, on play, autobiography, biography, essays. So you read those work and you try to find out, okay, this much have been done already, and now I need to find out the research gap. So such and such things are talked about already. So I am not going uh, to do such thing. I am not doing a repetition, but uh, I know that I have read those work. I am informed, and this little thing I would like to add in the already existing stock of knowledge. So that primary source, secondary source will become your data here. Otherwise, when it comes to field work or field visit or ethnography, then you conduct interviews, you distribute questionnaires. Those are also the part of data collection processes. And then once you analyze the data, you employ some theory, you apply some standard method, and you present an answer to that question. So in brief, I have described that what is actually research. And now we will come to this abstract writing, and before that there is a brief quiz that we will do. And it's very simple. The word abstract comes from dash, which means a condensed form of a longer piece of writing. The answer is Latin abstractum. We know that in English, various words they have been derived from different languages. For example, there is a character Shrupankha in Ramayana. Shrupankha was the sister of Ravan. Now, when you consider this first part of Shrupankha, what is that Shrup? Shrup, and can you associate Shroop and any other English word with that? Yes, we have a word like sharp. Shroop means sharp and prakhan means nails. So someone who has sharp nails can be called Shruprankha. And so this is just an example that how Shrup is a Sanskrit word, and now in English you have also sharp. So similarly, abstractum is a Latin word, and from abstractum we have abstract. So this is an example that how English has borrowed words from different languages across the globe. Second question, the abstract is the dash item that you write. The abstract is the last item that you write. Once your work is done, then you write the abstract. But what is the first thing that you do? You write a proposal, what you are going to do. So there is a difference between a research proposal and abstract. Generally, researchers, they think that abstract is the first thing they write. It is not the case. Yes, when the research is published, either in the form of a dissertation or in the form of academic paper, then you will find abstract as the first piece, but that is written in the last, because abstract includes findings, abstract includes conclusion, abstract includes result. If the research is not conducted, then how can you write these things in your abstract? If you have not employed any methodology, then how will you write that thing in your abstract? So which works as an advertisement for your research writing? Yes, the answer is abstract. Here the word advertisement is important. And why this word is important? Because you need to understand the nature of advertisement. Advertisement we watch on television, advertisement we watch on our mobile phone. So all around us we have advertisements, billboards, in newspapers, magazines, everywhere we find advertisement. And when we try to talk about the nature, when we try to understand the nature of advertisement, then we find that advertisements are catchy. Advertisements are meant that the audience will buy that particular product. They are alluring. They are persuasive. So similarly, we are comparing that your abstract should be alluring, your abstract should be persuasive. And why is it so? Because your abstract must attract audience, the readers, to read the full paper. Because no one has time to read your entire research in one go. Everyone is busy. If your abstract is not good, if your abstract is not appealing, if your abstract is not persuasive, then there is very less chance that someone will actually read your research. So abstract works as an advertisement for your research writing. Now the last question in this quiz is, which one is not true for abstract writing? The answer is must include referencing. Referencing is not the part of abstract writing. Now what is referencing? When you write something, it is not the thing that you are inventing those things. That is that you must have read those things somewhere, and now those things either in your memory or you are citing those things from other work. So you need to cite a website, you need to cite a web series, you need to cite a book, you need to cite an interview, you need to cite a Google Meet lecture like this. You can cite anything. There are various ways through which you can cite. But that citation must not be the part of abstract. That is the part of the body of the paper, but not the abstract. Yes, abstract will be written in plain English, and when an experiment is conducted and to downplay the author, you can use passive, because using pronouns like I did this, I conducted a survey, I employed this methodology, these type of expressions with pronouns are not used in abstract writing. And the more importantly, you need to downplay the author. You should not write I or we. This is bad type of abstract writing. So there are different types of abstract as well, and the meaning or one line definition of abstract is that abstract is a concise description about the research. So it is a concise description about the research that indicates that research has been completed, research has been done, and now you are writing an abstract. You are informing, about your research. You are writing a concise, very brief description. So 200 words abstract generally for doctoral dissertation or master's dissertation. So you can also write 200 words abstract. 25 to 50 words abstract for short articles. Short articles means 10-page article. It's not like 1-page article. So around 4,000, 5,000 words you are writing, that is considered short article, because papers and long papers generally they are of 40 to 50 pages. Between 100 to 500 words depending upon journals requirement. So different journals, they have different types of requirement. Once you select a journal and you try to submit your abstract, so first process is that once your research is done or your research is about to be finished, then you need to write an abstract, and first you need to send your abstract to the journal, and those journals, they have very specific guidelines for you. Now why should you send your paper to a journal, to a good journal? Because you want to inform that I have also done something. You want to inform that, okay, I am the author of this topic. You want to be cited, that people must know you, that who you are. People must cite you, that okay, this person has, like you cite, uh, this person said this, Chomsky said this, Shakespeare said this. So you want that people should also cite me. So that is the purpose of submitting your abstract to a journal. And those of you who are really serious in your research, then my suggestion is that in the next semester, when the month of March is over, you try to select those journals, and in the first week of April, submit your abstract to those good journals, which are listed in UGC CARE, which are or either Scopus or SCI listed journals. Now why? What is the need of publication? Because you want to conduct a future research. You want to conduct your PhD after your masters. Many of you will settle down, but many of you will do or conduct your research and continue your further studies. And nowadays competition is very tough. So if you have a publication at master's level, then it is a big thing. So you can say that I have a published paper in my master's. People will just look at you. Oh, really? So generally, people publish, researchers publish once they are doing their PhD. They are in the last stage or in between their PhD. But once you publish your paper while doing your master's, then the chances to enroll, to register for a PhD course in reputed universities, it increases a lot. So there is a possibility that you will get a seat in IIT, for PhD. You will get a seat in NITs. You will get a seat in other reputed universities on the basis of your publication. Because once you say that I have a published paper, then first thing the committee members will ask about what is there in the paper. And the paper is based on the research that you have conducted in your fourth semester. So you are thorough with that and you will explain this and that and you will get a seat. So that's why you also keep this thing in mind that I am not simply writing my master's dissertation for the requirement because it is a requirement for the degree. Obviously, it is a requirement for your degree. But more importantly, if it is a good research, then not only you will get A plus grade, but the chances to get it published in reputed journals will also increase immensely. So also keep this word journal in your mind, and because this semester you are simply writing a review. You can, if you write a good review, as I have described you in previous classes, that how can you write a review, then the publication of review article is also there. So it's not the case that in this semester you can't publish anything. If you have written something very original, if you highlighted certain points, then again you can search novels which are listed in UGC CARE and submit your article that okay, I have reviewed these books. Then again, like in the third semester, you have application. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. Importantly, you need to understand that in the master's dissertation, you will write 200 words abstract. But the first thing, once you start conducting your research, you will write a research proposal that what I am going to do. So don't mix with what is an abstract, because abstract you write at the end of your research. But at the same time, research proposal is you propose something that, okay, this is the topic and I'm going to conduct a research on it. So we have already discussed that we need to treat abstract as an advertisement. The abstract should be about the research and not about the act of writing. Now this is quite important that you need to understand. When we say that abstract is a concise description, then it is the essence of your entire research. You need to use each and every word quite carefully. You need to follow the principle of minimax. Now, what is the principle of minimax? In abstract, you write minimally and mean maximally. That is the principle of minimax. That means you need to use your words like currency, like money. You should not waste your words in abstract, because we have already discussed that in abstract we have word limit. We can't write endlessly. We can't cross this word limit. If you cross this word limit, then it is not considered as a good abstract. So there are certain do's for writing an abstract and as well as certain don'ts. But first we will discuss certain do's for writing an abstract. Sentences are unified, coherent, concise. Generally, abstract is in one paragraph. But if due to a special requirement from a journal and you have more than one paragraph, then each paragraph must stand alone. I will also tell you how to write a paragraph in future classes, because in a paragraph there are different types of sentences that you must use. So sentences are unified, coherent, and concise. Unified, that means one sentence is linked to the other sentence. It's not like each sentences are standalone. No, each sentences are not standalone, but each paragraph is standalone. Sentences are interlinked with each other. Uses introduction, body, conclusion part of the paper. So we will discuss that how abstract, in the abstract, or in that one paragraph, there is one introductory sentence, there is one few sentences, a couple of sentences that will create a body of that abstract, and last sentence will be the conclusion of that abstract that we will discuss. Logical connections or transitions between sentence, so you can use however, but, fine, as these type of connectives you can use in order to make a transition between sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 2, sentence 3. So it's like a link. Logical connections, they are like links. Adds no new information. So you need to be very careful that if you are not mentioning certain thing or certain information in your paper, then it must not be the part of your abstract. So you must not add any new information. Then, as I said, like abstract is to be written in plain English. That means abstract is understandable to a wide audience. That's why we use plain English. It is not the case that someone who has not studied English literature and the person is not able to understand your abstract. Because as I said, like abstract is like an advertisement. So once there is an advertisement, it is for all. It's not the case that only educated people will understand what this, that is not a good advertisement. So abstract is understandable to a wide audience. So whoever is a researcher, irrespective of other fields, person will understand that what you are talking about. And we have already discussed that abstract oftentimes uses passive verbs to downplay the author. So these are the things for today that we have discussed. And if you have any question or any doubt, then you can ask me. I will try to answer.